Tensions are soaring above the East China Sea as Chinese and Japanese military aircraft engage in increasingly risky encounters. What was once a relatively quiet expanse of international airspace has now become a flashpoint, with both sides sending advanced fighter jets on regular patrols. The roar of engines and the sight of rival aircraft in close proximity have become a near-daily occurrence, raising the stakes for pilots and commanders alike. Recent incidents in international airspace have exposed the fragile relationship between Asia's two major powers. In the past month alone, there have been multiple reports of near misses, with pilots forced to take evasive action to avoid collisions. These encounters are not just about military might, they are also about sending political messages, testing boundaries, and asserting national pride. The skies, once open for peaceful passage, are now a stage for military posturing and geopolitical rivalry. Each maneuver, each interception, is carefully watched by military analysts and government officials, who worry that a single miscalculation could trigger a much larger crisis. The East China Sea has become a symbol of the broader competition for influence in the region, with both Tokyo and Beijing unwilling to back down. These events, unfolding over 2 days in July 2025, have drawn global attention and raised urgent questions about the rules of engagement. International observers are calling for restraint, warning that the current trajectory could lead to unintended escalation. The world's media has zeroed in on the region, broadcasting images of close encounters and heated diplomatic exchanges. With each close flyby, the risk of a catastrophic accident grows, threatening to turn a tense standoff into open conflict. Military experts caution that even a minor incident, an accidental collision, a misinterpreted maneuver, could spark a rapid escalation, drawing in allies and destabilizing the entire region. The margin for error is razor thin, and the consequences could be severe. This is not an isolated dispute, but part of a broader struggle over territory, influence, and the future of East Asia. The contested islands and surrounding waters are rich in resources and hold deep historical significance for both nations. As military assets continue to build up, the dispute has become a test of resolve, not just for China and Japan, but for the entire international community. The world now watches to see if Tokyo and Beijing can de-escalate, or if the region will spiral further into confrontation. Diplomats are working behind the scenes to open channels of communication, but the situation remains volatile. As tensions mount, the East China Sea stands as a stark reminder of how quickly peace can give way to peril, and how vital it is for all sides to seek dialogue over danger. Over the course of 2 consecutive days, tensions in the skies above the East China Sea reached a boiling point. Chinese fighter bombers, flying with unmistakable aggression, intercepted a Japanese intelligence aircraft operating in what is recognized as international airspace. These encounters were not routine, they were deliberate, calculated, and fraught with risk, highlighting the razor-thin margin for error in such high-stakes military standoffs. On July 9th, a Chinese JH-7 fighter bomber closed in on a Japanese YS-11EB reconnaissance plane, coming within just 70 meters, a distance that, in the world of aviation, is perilously close. For 15 long and tense minutes, the Chinese jet shadowed the Japanese aircraft, mirroring its every move and sending a clear message of intimidation. The Japanese crew, trained for such encounters, maintained their composure, but the threat was palpable. The very next day, the situation escalated even further. Another JH-7 approached a Japanese plane, this time closing the gap to a mere 30 meters vertically. At the speeds these aircraft travel, such proximity leaves almost no room for error. One wrong move could have resulted in disaster. The maneuver was not only dangerous, but also a stark demonstration of just how quickly routine surveillance can spiral into a crisis. These high-risk maneuvers took place near the hotly contested Senkaku, known as Diaoyu in China Islands, a region long at the center of territorial disputes between the two nations. The presence of military aircraft from both sides in such close quarters only heightened the sense of danger and underscored the strategic importance of these remote islands. In response, Japan's defense ministry issued a strong condemnation, labeling the Chinese actions as extremely dangerous and reckless. Officials warned that such close encounters carry a very real risk of mid-air collision, which could have catastrophic consequences not only for the crews involved, but for regional stability as a whole. Thankfully, no physical damage was reported, and both sides' aircraft returned safely to base. However, the psychological impact on the crews and the immediate diplomatic fallout were significant. Behind closed doors, urgent meetings were held as both governments scrambled to manage the aftermath and prevent further escalation. These incidents serve as a stark reminder of how quickly routine patrols can transform into dangerous flashpoints. What begins as a standard surveillance mission can, in an instant, become a test of nerves and resolve between rival militaries. Each close encounter in these contested skies adds another layer of tension to an already volatile situation, raising the stakes for both nations and the entire region. The aircraft involved in this tense encounter reveal the sharply contrasting strategies and philosophies of China and Japan as they operate in contested airspace. Each nation has chosen a very different tool for the job, reflecting not just their military capabilities, but also their intentions and approach to the ongoing standoff. China's JH-7, a fast, heavily armed fighter bomber, was deployed not for direct combat, but as a show of force, meant to intimidate, disrupt, and send a powerful message. With its sleek design, advanced avionics, and formidable payload, the JH-7 is a symbol of China's willingness to project power and assert its claims in the region. Its aggressive presence in the skies is no accident. By flying close to Japanese aircraft, the JH-7 signals that China is prepared to challenge any surveillance or intelligence-gathering missions near disputed territories. This is a calculated move designed to unsettle opponents and demonstrate resolve. The Japanese YS-11EB, by contrast, is a slow, sensor-laden intelligence plane, built to listen, not fight. Its unassuming appearance belies its importance. Packed with sophisticated electronic equipment, the YS-11EB is Japan's eye and ear in the sky, quietly monitoring activity and gathering crucial data. Vulnerable and unarmed, its mission is to quietly gather information on Chinese military activity, often operating in potentially hostile environments. The crew relies on skill and caution, knowing that their work is vital for national security, but also that they have little means of defending themselves if threatened. The JH-7's close approach was a direct attempt to interfere with this intelligence work, forcing the Japanese crew to remain alert and ready to respond to any sudden escalation. Such maneuvers are risky, heightening the tension in already fraught skies. These encounters are not just about hardware, they're about signaling resolve, testing boundaries, and sending messages to both adversaries and allies. Every maneuver, every close pass, is a calculated act in a high-stakes game of brinkmanship. Each side is determined to assert its presence, even at great risk. In these moments, the pilots become the face of their nation's strategy, carrying the weight of national pride and security on their shoulders as they navigate the thin line between deterrence and provocation. Close encounters between military aircraft are fraught with danger. At 30 meters, a minor error or sudden move could cause a deadly mid-air collision. The slower Japanese plane, unable to evade, is especially vulnerable to jet wash and intimidation. Such incidents create intense stress for crews, increasing the risk of miscalculation. A collision would trigger a major international crisis, potentially escalating into military conflict. That's why international protocols exist, to keep rival militaries professional and safe. When these rules are ignored, the risk extends far beyond the pilots involved. The erosion of these norms threatens the entire region's security. Every close call is a warning. The margin for error is vanishingly thin. Japan responded swiftly, lodging a formal protest with China the day after the second incident. Vice Foreign Minister Takehiro Funakoshi summoned the Chinese ambassador, demanding immediate steps to prevent future provocations. Japan's message was clear. Reckless military conduct will not be tolerated. By making the protest public, Tokyo sought to rally international support and pressure Beijing. This is about more than a single event. It's about drawing a line against dangerous escalation. Diplomacy is now Japan's primary tool, aiming to de-escalate while signaling resolve. The world is watching to see if China will adjust its behavior. The stakes are high, and the next move could shape the region's future. Beijing has remained publicly silent on the July incidents, a familiar tactic to control the narrative. In similar cases, China has accused Japan of provocative surveillance, framing its own pilots as defenders, not aggressors. China's official line, if foreign intelligence flights stopped, so would the intercepts. This narrative, amplified by state media, portrays China as the aggrieved party. The dispute is further complicated by China's unilateral air defense identification zone, which Japan and its allies refuse to recognize. At its core, this is a clash over who sets the rules in contested skies. These close calls are part of a growing pattern. Just last month, Chinese jets from the carrier Shandong buzzed a Japanese P-3C Orion in the Pacific, coming within 45 meters. Such maneuvers, now routine, are designed to intimidate and test Japan's resolve. China's expanding carrier operations signal a new level of ambition and capability. These incidents are not isolated. They reflect a deliberate strategy to challenge the status quo. Each unchecked encounter emboldens further escalation. These aerial standoffs are symptoms of deeper, long-standing disputes. At the heart is the territorial fight over the Senkaku Diaoyu Islands, symbols of sovereignty and national pride. China's rapid military modernization has fueled its assertiveness, while Japan has responded by strengthening its defenses and alliances. The first island chain, stretching toward Taiwan, is now a strategic flashpoint. China's 2013 ADIA's declaration institutionalized the friction, demanding foreign aircraft identify themselves. Japan and the U.S. reject this, insisting on freedom of navigation. The result, regular, risky encounters as both sides defend their claims. The fundamental disagreement over the rules of the sky keeps tensions high. Despite military tensions, Japan and China remain deeply economically intertwined. Trade and investment bind the two nations, creating a powerful incentive to avoid open conflict. Even as jets face off, diplomats sign new trade deals, like the recent agreement to resume Japanese beef exports to China. China has also eased some restrictions on Japanese seafood, signaling a pragmatic approach to economic ties. This duality, military rivalry and economic partnership, defines their modern relationship. Economic interdependence is a stabilizer, but it cannot erase the risks of military miscalculation. A single incident could overwhelm the safety net of trade. Professionalism in the skies is essential to preserve both peace and prosperity.